If you want to be successful with your side hustle, startup, or anything that needs planning at all, then knowing how to manage projects is a key skill that's actually incredibly easy to learn if you use the right tools. There are tons of project management tools out there on the market, but you do not need to spend any money or tie yourself into any unnecessary contracts to become excellent at project management. In fact, the only thing you need to manage any project of any size is a free Notion account. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to use Notion to manage any project that you want to execute. And this is especially important if you are starting something of your own, you're a creator, a freelancer, a founder, or you have any element of project management to your life or your job. I'm Gina, a startup expert and Notion fanatic. I spent the last 20 years working in startups, and I'm going to show you how invaluable of a product Notion is for project management, how to do it properly, and then walk you through step by step some projects that are incredibly impactful if you are starting something for yourself. In fact, I've already built out every type of project you'll need in order to start your own business. It is part of the Solo Business Operating System, a one-off purchase that will stay with you for life from starting your brand from zero all the way to millions of dollars in revenue. So grab that for yourself now. And on this channel, I teach you a lot about Notion because it's such an excellent tool in building your own business. But I also show you everything you need to know about startups, tooling, skills, AI, and everything you need to start, launch, or scale any brand or any side hustle for less time, energy, risk, and cost. So do subscribe. So Chapter 1, how databases are set up, which is the cornerstone to any type of project management. Now, I'm going to take you through the Solo Business Blueprint because in here we have all of those amazing projects. If you want this, grab it now and we can work through it as we go. But if not, this is applicable to any database and any project that you need to build in Notion. Now, we're going to use the marketing section of this workbook as an example. In here, we have a ton of stuff to help you build your own marketing department. But what we want to look at is our campaign management, our main marketing project, if you will. So first things first, we want a database. Now, database is built in Notion by simply going /database and creating a database in line. From this database view, you will see that we have properties. And this is Chapter 2, choosing the correct properties in order to manage a project. If you're using the Solo Business Blueprint, I've already built out the properties that you will need in order to run the projects. But if you are starting from scratch, let's work through this together. To add a property, all you do is click Add Property. This will then show you all the different types of properties that Notion has. If you want to know more in depth about these properties, I do have a video on getting started with Notion. But for project management, there are only really 6 total properties that we actually care about. The status, the priority, the due date, the category, which some people call tag, like marketing, operations, production, the project type, is this a one-off, is this recurring, is this a sprint, is this a growth experimentation, and then the owner. And this is so important, even if it is just you, having somebody accountable for a project is the key to getting it done. As you can see, we have these properties pre-filled in the Solo Business Blueprint. In that blueprint, we also have all of these really exciting relations because this workbook pulls every single aspect of your business together in one place so you can run an entire business from one tool for one cost forever. These advanced settings we don't have to go through today in order to run a project management. So what we will do is put in those 6 properties. So with the database, we ignore this first column because this is the name of the project, and we go through and we add in our 6 properties. Status is its own property, so choose status. But with this, what you are going to do is you're going to edit this property to add in your own statuses. I find not started, in progress, and done is way too broad. So add in your granular stages here by clicking plus and typing in the titles that you want to have within that status. Clicking enter makes it into an option, and clicking on the arrow means you can change it, you can rename it, you delete it, you can change the color. So go through and add in your status. Next, we want to choose select for priority, and pretty self-explanatory with low, medium, and high. For due date, simply pick date. Area or category, select multi-select, and add in the categories that relate to your projects. And the final property you're going to use is person, which is your accountable. These 6 properties are the only things that you need in order to run any type of project through Notion. Now we've got that set up, we move on to Chapter 3 of project management, which is the project management in practice. And in this chapter, we have 4 different things to learn. So buckle up. So the first one we're going to look at is our view of a board. As you can see in the Solo Business Blueprint, we have this set up as a view already. In order to set this up on any new database, all you need to do is head over to Settings, click on Layout, choose Board, and then make sure that you are grouping by status. Within this space, you can also choose the properties that you want to see, and you can also choose whether you want it to have conditional color settings. If you've added in different statuses, you can move the order either here or by dragging and dropping in the main view. But now you can see we have a very easy to use Kanban board that goes from left to right in terms of your project management status. The more statuses you put in, the more steps you have, and the easier it is to move through that process. So be super granular when you're looking at your projects. Your weekly workflow is going to be coming into your project management board, ensuring that it is filtered by date ascending, and then working through your top cards. Each of these cards opens up and will show you absolutely everything that you need to know about that project. Within the Solo Business Operating System, we not only have these overview projects for the project as a whole, when you go into the cards, you have everything you need to know in order to work on that project. We have an overview, we have our success metrics, we have the content we need to brief in, and then we have to-dos and tasks. With this setup, your day-to-day is your board view and anything that is either in progress or yet to start, going into each card and working through the tasks within that card. This operates the exact same way that Monday, Trello, Asana, all those expensive programs operate. But there are layers to this. As well as having this overview and project management, what you also want to be using Notion for in order to manage your projects properly is to have tasks and filter by what needs to get done. If we go to the main page of the Solo Business Blueprint, you will see that we have tasks that are filtered by the week, by urgent, and then in our main database, we have every single task that we need to do. When using Notion for your project management, the second way in which to work with it is to have a view of your week. Sometimes when we look at the project board as a whole, this can feel quite overwhelming. By splitting out your tasks into simple due dates, your workflow can be looking at your tasks assigned for that week, and therefore you only need to focus on things that you need to do that week instead of feeling like you're managing multiple big projects at once. And because of this, we also have the third part of this chapter, which is your urgent tasks. Project management tools like Monday and Asana seem to be worth the cost because they give you alerts and reminders of when things are done. But actually, Notion does that as well for completely free. To be on top of your project management, we also want to be using this view here, which is anything that is due either today or essentially anything that immediately needs your attention. Now, we get this view because this workbook is filtered by our uncompleted tasks that are either on or before today. So anything that is overdue or due right now will show in this view, which will demand your immediate attention. To go further and match the capabilities of Monday.com or Asana, you can also set yourself reminders and notifications to make sure that you do these urgent tasks. When you are setting up your tasks and you're putting your due date, you can choose these options here to even include a specific time and then remind yourself. You can choose to remind on the day, 1 day before, 2 days before, and you will get a notification on your homepage. Or if you go into your settings, you can even get an email. This is the exact same functionality as Monday, as Asana, but for absolutely no cost. So how does Chapter 3 come together in this fourth part of this chapter? And that is how you set up your weekly workflow. Project management tools are only as good as how you use them. Monday, Asana, Trello, they are all basic Kanban boards. And in order to run a project properly, you have to understand how you spend your time, effort, and energy. The functionality of Notion is already set up exactly how you would need to use any of those programs. But even using those programs, project management only works if you have a weekly operating rhythm. Now, this weekly operating rhythm takes 10 minutes, but it sets you up to manage your projects properly through Notion. I talk about my Sunday reset quite often. Every Sunday, I take 10 minutes to look at all of my project boards. Within the Solo Business System, we actually have an overview where you can see all of your projects at once. But if you are using your own template, your own system, you want to spend 10 minutes looking at all of your projects and looking at their status, their priority, and their next steps. What you are then going to do is go into every single card and ensure that all of the tasks are already set up for that week. You're going to double check the dates. You're going to double check the priorities. You are then going to see what resources or things you will need in order to complete those tasks. You're going to grab all of those resources, go into your task and drop them into that card. You are then going to do a bit of auditing and make sure that every action has been updated, every card has the latest information, everything has been checked off, moved around, the dates make sense. And then once you are happy with that admin being correct, you are going to enforce time blocking, where you're going to go to your week view and you are going to match your week view with your calendar availability. If you are managing your projects in your job full-time, you are going to drop in calendar invites to yourself for when you need to be doing the task for the project. If you are doing this on the side, this is the ultimate hack to getting a business off the ground while you're still working. You are going to look at your week ahead within Notion, and you are going to match that with the time you have available around your other commitments. You are going to take your tasks in order of priority and understanding the length of time, and you are going to physically put time into your own calendar. You are also going to take that Notion card from that card and put it directly into your calendar invite, because you have already done the work to get all the resources in one place. And so when you come to sit down on your computer, you will get your calendar reminder and you will immediately be able to go in and complete your task. Project management doesn't need a huge, shiny, bells and whistles program. What it needs is a centralized system of information, 6 different statuses so you can understand who is doing what, by when, how important it is, and what else needs to happen. It needs a weekly view in which to work through left through right on your board, and it needs proper planning of your own time. I understand that you might be watching this as someone who does project management at work, or you have a team. Within this system, you are able to assign work out to other people with those deadlines and then look at everybody's work in an overall view. Within this, you can filter by person, you can filter by status, you can filter by priority. But building in Notion means that you have that full overview of everything that is happening, and it is your job to ensure that all the tasks are in place, all the dates are in place, and then you are checking every day that everything is moving in line with your critical path. Now, if you're viewing this video because you are just a Notion fan and you want to learn more, do subscribe, because I do tell you a ton of information on how to use Notion. But if you are here because you're starting something on the side, you are a creator, a freelancer, a founder, let me take you through some of the most impactful projects that you can have. Now, this is all part of the Solo Business Operating System, so do grab it for yourself. It gives you everything you need to start, launch, grow your own business or side hustle. If we go into this section called Your Strategies, I've built out the most impactful projects that you will need. I've shown you the marketing part of this workbook, and within marketing, we have your content and social, we have your campaigns, we have these projects that you already probably know about that are key to success. But these are some lesser known ones that you can get within this workspace that will fundamentally change how you launch and grow your business. Now, in this workbook, I've actually built you a template for every single project that you need. We have problem validation sprints, we have offer sprints, we have MVP definition, launch, revenue, feedback, focus, scale. These are all projects that you can build from these templates that will fast track your success. They are tried and tested. They are ones that I've done with brands over the last 20 years. If you are a founder of a product-based business, the most impactful project that you can run right now is your MVP definition project. So often founders solve a problem for themselves and don't actually critically look and manage what their first product should look like. If you're a freelancer, a consultant, or someone who doesn't have a physical product, the first project you need to run is your offer sprint template. And this works for creators as well, because it really gets to the heart of your USP and why you exist. If you already have a product, you need to be running the launch sprint project. And if you have a product, a business, a creator channel, but you've not quite reached the revenue that you need, then you need to be running the revenue sprint. Now, this is a general overview on the actual workings of Notion and how you set it up as a project management tool. I hope I've given you enough insight in order to start building projects yourself within Notion. But if you want something more in depth, do let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn how to use Notion to make your life better, how to launch and build your own side hustle, do subscribe, like, and tell me what else you want to learn.